However, that's right. I'm going to ask is the modern anti-Semitism, Islamic anti-Semitism. What is it? Islam is a religion, and part of the civilizations that deserve respect. Where we have respecting one each other as well your ideas. We believing in one God. There is no any idols in Islam. But what does it mean? Islamism. Islam is a political ideology to be subjected to the critical inquiry. It means that the Islamists, Islamiyun, we say, the transitional Arabic is al-Islamiyya, they coined by Hassan al-Banna, and he was in 1928 one of the Muslim Brotherhood who founded the religious and the political group, the Muslim Brotherhood. And the point is a distinction between the Islam and Islam is what that says Syrian German historian Bassam Tibi. Then he says, you know what? He describes the Islamization of the anti-Semitism. It means that with the anti-Semitism as a key component of the Islamic ideology. What does it mean? As I was in few conferences, as the one diplomatic intercultural diplomacy and national security, and invited to many conferences and so on. One of the conferences, one is in Europe and Spain, and one of them was in Istanbul, Ankara, and so on. And one of my friends coming from from Egypt, his name is Wafiq Mustafa, Wafiq Mustafa, and he brought me a book and said, "This is my last book that is written. Okay, can't I give it to you, and it's a great idea." And what's the idea behind the book? He say, "You know that till when Hitler was alive?" I say, "What I mean?" Hitler, as I know, 1st of May 1945, before those coalition and so on got to Germany, he suicide. He and also his wife, as I remember, and those that were the guards of him. And he say, no, whenever that's it, we discuss it with each other. We have too many things we're gonna bring you. Chidush gadol. We have that. First of all, when Germany was surrounded by the Allies, before that, for few years, 1930 and 1940s, they built their Third Reich. And Third Reich, it wasn't also getting conquering all the Europe. It was also bringing Haji al Hosseini, the one that's hatred in Islamic ideas, and to make the National Socialist, that is Nazi, they're gonna have the Islamization of anti-Semitism and Nazization of the anti-Semitism hatred throughout the Jews. How? First of all, it's Hitler and his, those that associate with him and they were partners. They got to Spain. That's we have over there in Spain. We had Franco. That was also like Mussolini. There was a fascist that were cooperation with him. And from there he got bought by 2 or 3 submarines. Submarines. It's Solelot Yam. Okay, they got to where? Got to Chile, got to Argentina. And in Argentina, you can find it on the history channel on the YouTube. If not, I'm gonna right away. We have channel with Rabbi Yoshua, and we're gonna to open it and gonna put it on that you can understand what's gonna be happening there. And we have the Marines and those in those yeah, that researching all these points that by submarines Hitler and his associates got to islands, besides Argentina, and submarines after World War II were founded, in Chile and Argentina. And whenever they come through to these islands that is living, got too many places that we have, German plates. They have those that there are colonies of Germans living in Argentina, and even they make rifles, asuneshek. How to gonna, how to gonna defend themselves from others. They have their own empire in Argentina. And part of the Nazi, about 70,000 of Nazis, not only got to the South America. Do you remember Eichmann? Eichmann also he was found in Argentina and brought for these all these crimes against the humanity to Israel to gonna be to gonna put in the court in the jail, and he was hanged by the way. And whenever that coming, and so they got the ideas of hatred to Jews and so on to Islam. Islam, by its own, have they have maybe you can find there's a historically there exists Judophobia in the Islam, but not anti-Semitism. Why? Because both are evil. Judophobia, it means Judophobia. We have afraid of the Jews. Okay, but the anti-Semitism is a hatred of the Jews. But means there's but to a different degree of each of them. While the Judophobia is a hatred and prejudice, anti-Semitism is a genocidal ideology that identifies the Jews as evils and calls for their the eradication of them. This means this sentiment did not is the classical Islam. Harambam, okay, Rabbi Sadia go on, and too many Jewish scholars they wrote their own, scrolls also in Arabic. You understand that it was an empire all the world, and in Andalus, in the Spain, when you go, Harambam is coming from Spain, and they were ruled by whom? By these Muslims over there, ruling Bani Umayyah. So it means historically, also Khadija, the wife of Muhammad the Prophet, she was a Jew as well. Jesus Christ was a Jew. But the point is that they pointed that whenever that you using Islam as an ideology and political ideology conquer the world, the story of in the anti-Semitism is influenced by the Nazis, especially in all these places, because part of the Nazis got not only to the South of America, got to the by the Hajiman Hosseini, that's where when it's a Bosnian and Serbian, 70,000, also 70,000, Hajiman Hosseini, the one that Mufti, that what is Jerusalem, brought to Hitler. Even there was a cooperation between, Muslim Brotherhood, okay, and Hajiman al-Husseini with the Hitler. There is a, there is a part of the history you can have. So it means that the pan-Arabist nationalists, in Middle East there are two segments. One is secular, that is pan-Arab nationalist, and then the other one, a religious fundamentalist, that means Islamist, and hatred of the politically, hatred of the Jews and Judaism and Israelophobia as well. Whatever that was a Jew Right now it's becoming this. And by whom they were the impact of upon them? By the Nazis that got to Arab countries like Iraq, like Egypt as well. And the propaganda that we have during the days in 1967, that's how to this cooperation with Hajim Hussein and Hitler, even that it was till 1965, he was alive, sir. Hitler and his associations and so on, they were living in an island in Argentina. Argentina, the alive. So it means that before, even after 1947 till 60, we have 70 years, 7 years. It means 17 years or 18 years that he could bring the hatred of Nazism to for the final solution to whom? To the Islamists, to the fundamentalists, religious fundamentalists of Israel. And why we have to understand that, know the truth, to open it. And whenever that's Bnei Noach, in brief, it's whenever that's trying to get it, somebody's speaking to him and her, and that there are impacts of the social media on them, you're going to ask them, why do you think like that? What are your references? Where is coming from? Do you remember the Jew that asked me how much you make money and and so on? They wanted the only. I just asked him to cooperate with me, not to be owner of my it's a company of construction. Asking him, I was so hatred of the Jews. Okay, where is coming from? What's the hatred of that? What's the references? Where is it written? But it's Quran, whatever that you can in Quran, it's not hatred of the Jews. Historically, Islam did not demonize the Jews as being of the devil, or the Christian theology did. What they say, okay, they're putting blood in the matzah, okay? Where it's coming from? From Catholics, okay? But the Quran refers to the Jews both positively and negatively. Under some Islamic rulers, Jewish life even flourished, while under others, Jews faced persecutions. And you can find that we have too many, Jewish scholars that in Islamic researchers that are Jews, Goldhill, Goiten, and so on. So it means the Islamism, the modern ideology, ignores Islam's various positive deceptions of the Jews. Instead of that, describes whatever that TB says, one of the scholars, Islamic research, Bassam TB says Islam fuses Judeo-phobic passage within the Islamic text with the European anti-Semitism, and I say we have impact of the Nazism also on the modern Islamic anti-Semitism against the Jews and state of Israel. Thank you very much.